Welcome to my presentation on the German research data infrastructure. My name is Jörg Surefetter, and since March 1st, 2020, I am the new director of the NFDI, which is short for the German research data infrastructure. Let me start with a personal statement. Why am I here? Why do I give this presentation to you? Well, there are many reasons, and one of the reasons is I just love data. And the German research data infrastructure, of course, is an organization which is meant to be a research organization which provides permanent access to high quality research data over the next decade. Let me go into some of our challenges, explain you some of the concepts, and give you a glimpse on who we are at the moment. Before going into details about our research infrastructure organization, I'd like to pitch a bit the motivation for talking about research data. Of course, talking about research data at this conference is a bit like bringing owls to Athens. Nevertheless, I'd like to start with a picture from Botticelli which shows the birth of Christ. Why is this so interesting? Well, during that time, as you will remember, they started the recording of what we nowadays call a census. We collect data about individuals, about their life situations, and by aggregating this data, we are able to make better decisions about the society and the future of the society. And as of today, of course, we see that the census is conducted in many countries, including Germany, such as in 2011. This can be seen as a view to the society, or view into the society. Here's another picture. You all will know the telescope, which has been invented in the year 1608 by Kepler. The picture you see here is showing two telescopes which have been used by Galileo for research purposes, for making a view to the distance. And this nicely shows again how research has progressed over the past. Because nowadays we benefit from research infrastructures like the Hubble Space Telescope, which has been launched in April 25th, 1990, and ever since is providing pictures from the far distance of our universe. In both cases we are collecting data. Now let me give you a third example to show you that this really affects all kinds of research disciplines. And here's a famous example from chemistry. It's the Rutherford scattering, experiment conducted in 1909, which for the first time showed human mankind that actually between the atoms there is actually lots of space. We have little atoms and lots of space in between. Of course, nowadays, research infrastructures have progressed again, and CERN, the Large Hadron Collider in CERN, is collecting huge volumes of data since 2008. And again, it allowed us a new perspective, and in this case, the view on the inner structures. You will find examples in all kinds of different science communities. And so it is fair to say, by collecting research data, we are able to stand on the shoulders of giants, because step by step, starting in the past and then over time adding additional infrastructures and additional data, we are able as human mankind to conduct better research. So it is fair to say that data research sets empower research, and they offer new perspectives on the society, on nature, and on life in general. Now, of course, there's a problem attached to that. And the problem is that still, even after all these centuries of research, research data management often is conducted decentral. It is sometimes project financed and therefore often stored only temporarily. If we wouldn't have the research data from Rutherford, we couldn't really reprove his hypothesis, or we could of course reprove his hypothesis, but since we have his research data, we can still validate that his experiment was conducted in the right manner. Of course, there are discussions always around experiment, but that is research too. And maybe later on, by viewing on a past experiment, you can find new insights just by revisiting the same data. So wouldn't it be cool to have all the data that we collect for research in a high quality and for a very long time. That's essentially what we want to do. And people like Michel Dumontier and the authors of the FAIR principles have noted that more and more research results are achieved by reusing already existing research data. Still, significant effort is still required for finding the right data, to understand the data, and to use it then for the purpose at hand. This is really the starting point for our initiative. The vision for the German research data infrastructure, the NFDI, is therefore basically very simple. All research data sets should be fair. Well, what is fair? It's findable, accessible, interpretable, and reusable. Probably you all know about the FAIR principles, given that you visit this conference. Now, let me add two statements. Research data sets are fair for all and forever. Now, what does for all mean? Of course, we have some research data which has privacy concerns, and we need to respect these privacy concerns. Especially if you look into social sciences, where data are collected about persons and the individual sphere of these persons, of course we need to respect their privacy. And therefore, giving access to all is limited according to the access concept given for a particular data set. Now, forever, that's a long word, right? Making data available forever. Let me quote here a saying from a very famous book where Alice says, "How long is forever?" And the white rabbit answers, "Sometimes it's just a second." So of course we need to find the right balance between getting the data, collecting the data, storing the data, and providing access to the right people at the right moment for the right task. And we need to define what does forever mean for such data sets. The funding base for the NFDI is granted by the Joint Science Conference. In Germany we call it GWK. There they decided on November 26 in 2018 a so-called Bund-Länder-Vereinbarung, in which it is said that there should be a program that lasts at least 10 years to create the national infrastructure, this national infrastructure. Up to 30 consortia should be funded, coming from all different research disciplines. Now, how do we select these consortia? Well, this is an evaluation process, and this evaluation process is research-driven. That means researchers are evaluating the proposals that are being made and then give a recommendation on this. And probably many of you are part of this story, so here again, this explanation is for people coming maybe from the outside. The process is owned by the German Research Foundation, the DFG. It is 3 rounds of evaluation, and right now, at the time of this conference, we are almost finishing the first round. So the proposals have been given in 2019, have been evaluated by a very large number of experts, and then the experts make a recommendation, and then this recommendation again is being revisited by the GWK, and the final Förderentscheidung, a decision to fund consortia, will be made soon. The NFDI contribution in the long run can be summarized as follows. To provide permanent access to high-quality research datasets by following a coordinated approach, establishing processes and structures, by networking with international initiatives such as the EOSC, such as the RDA, and by guaranteeing sustainable funds to have a perspective to get this all up and running. The first, let me call this the first NFDI mission statement, is foreseen to be as the following. The NFDI is a living network of active partners. We really need the engagement of partners within this network. There will be some kind of central coordination provided by me as the director and the team in the Directorate, but really, if you think about it, up to 30 consortia, where each consortium has 10 to 20 partners, this can only be really flying if we have active partners who contribute, who are also happy to take up tasks, to propose tasks, and really to create a creative atmosphere. So this is something we will need in the future, and we have seen it in the past. So therefore I'm very optimistic. So the NFDI is a living network of active partners who jointly share goals, values, and an aspiration for high quality, that in a dialogue with and according to the needs of science deliver research infrastructure services. There are many aspects in this simple sentence. Let me highlight some more out of it. Probably you all feel comfortable with high quality, share goals and share values. One special thing in this NFDI is the close interaction between research infrastructures and researchers themselves. Therefore, the consortia are being formed around collaborations between these two different target groups. And only the future can show, or will hopefully show, that this collaboration leads to better infrastructure and eventually leads to better research results. So therefore, this is a driving key factor in the whole idea of the NFDI. Now, some people have asked me during the past days, well, please tell me, what is the task of the new NFDI director? Since you started, some time has passed, but maybe I don't fully get the picture. Let me give you a quick answer on this one slide. It's a one-liner. You could, of course, phrase it like this, but I much more like it to phrase it like, make NFDI cool. Only if all the organizations and all the people, the individuals, such as you, are contributing and are really driving this whole infrastructure, then we will be a successful organization. So I'm really counting on you. And by my duties, I will do all or try the best to make this whole organization to an organization which is delivering high quality results, but also which is delivering fun, and so people like to contribute. And if the NFDI will be founded as a legal entity within the course of this year. It will be most likely a registered association, or in German we call it an eingetragener Verein. The founding members will be the German federal government and the German states, but of course the idea is to start in autumn with the first round of consortia and above. And let me go to this idea of who will be members of the NFDI, because this is an important aspect. NFDI membership, first of all, is voluntarily. So we have this basic law in Germany that members of an association always need to voluntarily decide to become members of the organizations. Of course, I'm very open and willing to welcome a lot of different organizations. And here's the organizations that we are mainly aiming for. These members, first of all, will be legal entities. That means organizations. As of now, personal memberships are not foreseen. There's a very low threshold in the sense that there's no membership fee. So everybody who really contributes to the goals of the associations, can become a member very easily. Expected members are of course the organizations who are receiving funds as part of a so-called NFDI consortium. So if you are part of such a consortium, I would really be happy to very soon welcome you on board as an NFDI member. Organizations who are still applying for such fundings are also very welcome. We will have 3 rounds of applications, and if you're currently in the process of preparing, please also consider to become a member from the very beginning. Then you can become part of the community as quick as possible and benefit from all the interactions and all the discussions ongoing within these associations. So we are very open-minded here. Potentially, we also welcome other organizations who are devoted to research data management, but who are not yet part of such an NFDI consortium. So really, around the goals of our associations, we welcome all kinds of different organizations. The NFDI team, as of now, consists of 3 members. Apart from me, that is Hendrik Seitz-Muskaliuk, who is the first research referent, or how do you call this in English, the scientific referent, and also it's Jennifer Knebes, who is the team assistant of our team. So working from home office was quite easy since we started with a small team, but right now we are expanding and we are hiring more people. If you would be interested, please do not hesitate to contact me or to visit our website for the job descriptions. Which brings me to the final point of my talk. Please stay tuned. We are already actively presenting first ideas, first results via our website, and also twittering some ideas on our Twitter account. If you followed our Twitter account closely during the past days, you will see a very first little Twitter initiative where we provide on a regular basis under the hashtag FDTip for Forschungsdatentipp hints to valuable research data sets. Of course, currently we have a focus on the COVID-19 pandemic and data sets who are addressing that, but of course the idea is that over time we visit all kinds of different research disciplines and visit research data sets for these disciplines. This brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope I gave you a first insight on what is the NFDI, what is the vision of the NFDI, and where is the process of establishing it. My team and I are very happy to get in contact with you to start work as soon as possible. So please become a member in autumn and join the club. Thank you very much.